Sanbonani, good morning. Goeiemorgen, Absheni, Molweni. I hope you guys are well on this Friday morning. Tomorrow, on Saturday, the 24th of September, South Africa celebrates Heritage Day. Heritage Day actually comes from Shaka Day, which is the presumed day of the death of the Zulu king Shaka Ngakhona in 1828. After 1996, of which we got democracy in 1994 with Nelson Mandela becoming president of the Democratic Republic of South Africa, in 1996, government actually excluded this day in the Public Holidays Bill. Inkatha Freedom Party, the Inkatha Freedom Party of Umangosuthu Buthelezi, IFP, objected the bill, and they had a conversation in Parliament and they decided to reach a compromise, moving it from Shaka Day, which it was, commemorating the death of Ushaka, the king of the Zulus, and to what we have today called Heritage Day, which many years ago was then appropriated again and known as Braai Day. So people are going to be braaiing tomorrow to celebrate South African heritage. And sadly, a lot of people are not going to be holding on to the essence of what this day was for, which was the death of Ushaka, the king of the Zulus. I'm mentioning this today and not tomorrow because on this Friday, normally, a lot of children are going to be dressed up in their heritage wear. A lot of adults, where they go to work, are going to be wearing their heritage wear. Everyone's going to be speaking about Heritage Day and celebrating Heritage Day. And it's going to be a great fanfare moving into the weekend. 24th of September, 23rd of September, today is African New Year. When you listen to the guys that represent the great empire of Kemet, the team DJ Sbu Mkhulu, Paul Mnisi and Mandisa Mashego are currently in Inzalo Yelanga in Mpumalanga, which commemorates or is the place of the Adam's calendar, which celebrates the new year for people in Southern Africa, our spring, so to speak. So they are celebrating that today, moving into the weekend. Tomorrow they will be at the Credo Mutwa village in Soweto. Making this video because we've lost a lot of things, you know, and for me, at least, every single year I bash the 24th of September and I call it the African Halloween, where a lot of children and adults dress up in their favorite fictional characters from a history that most of them don't even know, most of them don't understand. And they go and they enrich Indian shops, Chinese shops, wearing what's called heritage clothing, which is nothing more than just clothing that has been made now, mostly maybe imported from China, etc., to look like it represents where you come from and your heritage. Xhosa people are going to be getting their little white dots and pretending like that is their heritage and their culture, which is not true. Most people today live a largely Western life. Most of us speak English for the bulk of the day. A lot of us dress in Western European clothing almost every single day. The diets that we eat are not indigenous. The type of healthcare that we use is not traditional and indigenous and organic. And everything else about our lifestyle, even our belief systems. We no longer really commemorate and speak to our ancestors. We don't believe in Umvelinqangi, Uthixo, Uqhamatha, uNkulunkulu, you know. And even on this Heritage Day, which is known as Ilanga Lamagugu or Ilanga Lamasiko, it is almost a Halloween and a clownish celebration. Something like when you walk in the streets, you're going to be seeing people dressed up almost like you're seeing Spider-Man and Black Panther and Thor. That's essentially what it is. It has lost the essence. A lot of these children don't know the history, not just of their tribe, whether it is Pedi, Tswana, Sotho, Zulu, Xhosa, Swati, Ndebele, Tsonga, etc. They not only don't know that, they just don't know the history and the heritage of their own families. Where does your mom and your dad, where do they come from? Where did they grow up? What did they eat? What did they believe in? And the same with your great-grandparents or your grandparents as well. You don't know your heritage. When I look at my heritage, for example, my father's from Mpopomeni in Howick in KwaZulu. My mother comes from Ekvugeni, near Ladysmith in KwaZulu as well. That's where they come from. I was born in Matadeni in Newcastle and I grew up largely in the suburbs in Newcastle before I left for Ekhini, Grahamstown, Makhanda today. And today I live in Johannesburg. That is my heritage and where I come from as a person. Grew up enjoying pap and milk, or putu and milk with sugar. I grew up in Newcastle, where we have the best slab chips, fried chips in the world, Porto's fish and chips. My father used to breed greyhounds for hunting / poaching, for racing as well. He was a soccer coach. He was a soccer team owner. My mother was a school teacher. I grew up listening to a lot of American hip hop. Your Tupacs, your Busta Rhymes, your Ludacris's, Talib Kweli, Mos Def. I loved choir. I was a heavy choir boy all the way until I finished university. I loved rugby. Rugby was a religion for me. Up until a few years ago, rugby was a religion for me. That is my heritage. That is honest and truth to me and my life. I'm not going to go and buy these Maskandi pants with the blue and the yellow and the little frills from a China city. I'm not going to go and buy umkhele. That's probably bought from an Indian shop somewhere. We don't frequent muti shops. We don't understand muti. We don't deliver our own children indigenously. We use gynecologists and whatever. You know, I made a video about C-sections versus natural vaginal birth delivery earlier this week as an example. We don't know the beginning and the end of our beliefs, where we come from. Of course, there's a reawakening. You know, there's Pan-Africanism, there's African spirituality. If you look at the virtual Mkuku, we've had Umkhulu Ntsingeza, we've had Joshua Maponga come through, we've had Zamalek Giza as an example. We've had people that believe in black consciousness of Abo Stephen Bantu Bigo. But the reality is a lot of us are just craving identity. But we don't really know our identity. We don't know our history. And people like myself have confidently said, I have left blackness and I have left being Zulu. Because I have done the research and the history of what these things fundamentally mean. And if I no longer want to be under the custodianship and the leadership of the Zulu kingdom, and if I do not recognize Misu Zulu, Kazwelithini, as my king, and if I do not speak isiZulu as my core language, and I do not have a core Zulu diet, and I do not believe in core Zulu healthcare and other ways of living, angihlabi, angihlinzi, angishisi impepho, angikhulumi namadlozi, abantu abaphansi, abantu abadala, emsamo. We don't have a rondavel. I don't do any of those things. I understand them. I respect them. I know that my family used to do those things when it made sense to do so. And I have progressed and moved on and built a new culture and heritage for myself, including a belief system called penalism. That is my reality and my truth, and that allows me to be grounded and centered in my being, and it allows me to win in this world that we live in today. I'm not pretending to be part of a past that I was not there during that past, and I do not understand it. I don't go around like Umisuzulu at his coronation, dressing up in these feathers and these things, which are not really honest. Went and he disempowered a lion, but to be honest, he was hunting with a rifle from the west to shoot. You know what I mean? So we've lost a lot of our history, our heritage, and it's fine. It's life. But today on the 24th of September, we celebrate this thing and it looks like Halloween. Dress up in costumes as if we're Marvel characters. We share what we call indigenous food, which you don't really eat anymore. And then we're going to go around greeting each other, Absheni, Molweni, and pretend like we're cultural when we're not. We're Western Eurocentric people that are dark-skinned, that were colonized, and have by and large agreed to a British way of life, an American way of life, a Western European money system. We chase for jobs. We study in those schools. We use a law that is not even indigenous to us as Africans. We use Roman Dutch law as an example. And then our belief systems are not even rooted in nature and African spirituality. They are rooted in a Jesus Christ who has been whitewashed. They are rooted in a Muhammad who is Arabic of descent. And we do not understand where we even come from as a people. I understand, I acknowledge, and I'm so thankful, but I have progressed. I'm at peace and I've progressed into that. A lot of people are craving identity. And I suggest, like me, read the Bible, go and visit Sonto Lama Nazareta, Gwashembe, go visit Moria if you can, the ZCC church, for example. Go and speak with your elders and just ask them about their upbringing. They also don't have all the answers because they're also a bit lost. Understand they were colonized just like you. They also believe in money just like you. They live in Western type homes just like you. They go to church just like you. So they are also lost. But just ask them about their belief systems and find your own truth. And this Heritage Day, if I can wish you one thing, it's just to do more research into your own upbringing, into your parents' history, into your grandparents' history, and your great-grandparents' history. If you can go further and look into your tribal history, where your tribe comes from, and not just your father's side, not just the patriarchal side, but the matriarchal side as well. Where does your mom's family come from? And where do the women come from? Even on your father's side, where do the women come from? That is your real heritage. That is where you come from as a person. And then look into things like your diet. You're enjoying pizza and pasta these days, which are Italian. You're enjoying French fries and burgers, which are American. You're enjoying sushi, which is Asian. That is not even African food. And I'm not saying don't enjoy those things. I'm just saying acknowledge that you have moved and you have changed and you have become a globalized person, a global citizen that is plugged into the world. Commemorate and celebrate where you come from and your history, but more importantly, understand it so that you can be rooted in truth today and can be able to move into a better future. There's going to be a great piece of work that's going to be coming out where we're discussing blackness with other celebrities in South Africa. I hope you'll enjoy that because it speaks to the craving of identity and how we lost our identity through colonization and apartheid, etc. We do not have to go back there, but we need to understand that so that we can decide on how to move forward from here. Happy Heritage Day, happy African Halloween, and happy African New Year. Pen you all the black pen. Have a great Friday.